Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you might be joining from. I am HR Funk, and this is my firing line for Wednesday, March 19th, 2025. This is the online firearm show that is completely driven by you, your questions, and your comments. Otherwise, I'd be outside right now trying to figure out how to get all the leaves off my swimming pool cover, which is a bigger job than some of you might realize. That takes some time to get those things all off of there. And of course, they're wet and heavy from all the snow and rain over the winter. But I digress. In any case, I decided to have a live stream this morning rather than the typical Wednesday morning premiere video for a couple of reasons. First off, I need to make an announcement that I am not going to be here on Saturday. There is going to be a Saturday premiere video, so that, rest assured, you're going to have that to watch. But I won't be here. I'm going to be attending an event, and I'll tell you about that as the show progresses. But this is also the first live stream that I have had for quite some time. And some of you know that I have had some things going on lately that have taken a great deal of my time. I'm sort of proud of myself that I've been able to keep up with the video production schedule as well as I have. I think in the last couple of months, there might have been one Wednesday where there was not a video, but all the other Wednesdays and Saturdays, I've been able to at least keep something coming up for all of you to watch. And that's been a little bit of a challenge, but some other things have gone on the back burner. You've noticed there haven't been any real shorts that have come up. There haven't been any live streams. I forget when the last one was prior to today, but it's probably been maybe 5, 6 weeks ago, something like that. And typically I try to have a couple of these a month. But hopefully things are going to start to stabilize a little bit now, and I will be able to get back into a little bit more of a rhythm here and have these a little bit more frequently, because I really enjoy these, and being able to interact as directly as I can with all of you is just tremendous. By the way, as always, if anyone wants to be a guest on today's show, you can send me an email at hrfunksmail@gmail.com. It will come up on my screen here. I can send you a link to the stream, and you can appear here as a guest. I always have to throw this in. If you activate your camera, then everybody potentially in the world is going to be able to see you. So keep that in mind, depending upon how you might be attired at this time of the morning. In any case, I will get right into this. The event that I am going to this weekend is a 2-day, Friday, Saturday, I don't know how to characterize it, I guess, extravaganza, I guess, put on by Palmetto State Armory. I'm going to be going down to South Carolina, and it'll be fun because I'll have a chance to visit my daughter while I'm down there, who is attending the University of South Carolina. But this event is put on by Palmetto State Armory, and they invite manufacturers in from all over the place. There's going to be, I forget the entire list, but Springfield Armory is going to be there. IWI is going to be there. A whole bunch of other manufacturers, and they bring their various products along with them so you can actually test them out, as in live firing the different firearms. There are a lot of suppressor manufacturers going to be there, so they're going to have their suppressed firearms that you can shoot to be able to see how they work. So there's going to be a lot going on there. I don't think I'm going to be able to take a lot of video. When I was at the SHOT Show and when I go to the NRA annual meeting, it's a little bit of a challenge, but a lot of times I get video there and I'm able to put it together either into a standalone video, or I'm able to send out shorts or something like that. But since I'm going to be doing a lot of hands-on stuff, or at least I anticipate doing a lot of hands-on stuff at this particular event, which, if I didn't mention it before, is called The Gathering. It's in Clinton, South Carolina. So since I'm expecting to be able to, or expecting to be doing a lot of hands-on shooting, handling, whatever, different things, I don't know how much opportunity I'm going to have to record any kind of video. If I can get some and try to present anything when I get back here to all of you, I will. But I think probably next Wednesday, I'm going to put together another live stream and be able to talk about the things that I saw and the people that I met and all the happenings that went on at the gathering. So that's what I'm planning on for now. And I know I've been zooming along and not acknowledging anybody who has chimed in the comments. I think Marv Turner was the first one that was here. Thanks for joining, Marv. Jeff Tim is here. And I know I saw some more people. Ohio Gunrunner, glad to see you. Gunfighter 45 ACP is here. Terry Barnes, James Vatter, Guile Jackson, Jeeps Cafe, and Bill 1717, Chris 1911, and John G. And John G, by the way, is the one who invited me to the gathering. Heretofore, I was not familiar with it. I actually spent a little bit of time looking around on YouTube earlier this morning to see what I could find out. And there's not much information out there. There's a little bit from the 2024 event. Then it looks like it was kind of a soggy event. I saw a lot of mud puddles and rain and one thing and another. So I'm hoping for good weather this weekend. But just not much. A little bit of coverage from people that have been there in the past, but I am looking forward to this. And let me go right to the comments. Kyle Jackson, Major Chip Hazard or Major Hazard. Good morning. I get that quite a bit. That character from Small Soldiers, Major Chip Hazard, which I think is kind of funny. I need to get an action figure. In fact, I looked at those on eBay a while back, and they do make them. But I need to get a Major Chip Hazard action figure to put somewhere in the background here or somewhere down on the bench in the shop, just as a little bit of background eye candy. I think that comparison is pretty funny. The other one that I get quite often, in fact, I just got a comment yesterday on this one, is a lot of people think that I look like Frank Sutton, who played Sergeant Carter in the Gomer Pyle TV show. And I don't really see the resemblance, but a lot of people do. And from what I know of Frank Sutton, the actor who played Sergeant Carter, he was quite a guy. He was a World War II veteran. He was in the Army during World War II. He did a lot of things in his community, and I can't think right now where he was from. I want to say it was someplace either in Kentucky or Tennessee, and I think they actually have a statue to him there for everything that he did for the community there. So, quite a gentleman, and so I kind of I take it as a compliment when people compare me to him. And I always say it's better to be thought of as Sergeant Carter or to resemble Sergeant Carter than Gomer. Anyway, back to the comments. John G, good morning. The gathering is a lot of fun. Looking forward to seeing you there. And I am looking forward to being there. Thanks again for cluing me into it. And thanks for the invitation. J78 is here. Good morning to you. Tim Harper, hello. Marv Turner, I wish I could go, but Friday is committed to family and Saturday is looking too good. Yeah. And that's the way I talked about that at the very opening of the show. I have been so pressed for time lately. So I feel your pain there, but I hope you have a good time with your family. GunCon is in Cleveland this year in July. I might try to make it up to that, depending upon just exactly what the date is and everything. I'll have to look that up. But Cleveland is about an hour-ish drive north for me. In fact, we were just up there over the weekend for something. So that's not too bad at all. It's nice to have something a little bit closer that I might be able to get to. I'm kind of surprised they're having it in Cleveland. Cleveland is not the most firearms-friendly community on the planet, but if it's going to be nice and close here, I'm going to be happy for it, and I'll try to get there. Marv Turner is pretty close to Clinton. I've never been to Clinton. It's about my plan is I'm going to be commuting back and forth. I'm going to stay with my daughter in Columbia, which, as I look at the map, is about an hour southeast of Clinton. So I'll just zip back and forth, and I'm used to getting up early in the morning, and I'll just run back and forth on those 2 days while I'm down there. So I don't expect there's going to be much problem with that. Terry Barnes, he was from Clarksville, Tennessee. I was thinking Tennessee, Kentucky, one of those states right in that area. So thank you for clarifying that. Was in the Korean War. I thought he was in World War II. Was he in both? Maybe I was wrong. It's been a while since I looked that up. Ohio Gunrunner texted me the link. Thank you very much. I didn't see it or hear it come in, but I'm sure it's going to be there. Good morning, Mark S. Greg Shearer is here. It's going to be on June 28th. That might be doable. I know later in the summer we're going to be going down. There's a whole. This will be the next chapter of things that are going to interrupt my live streams and one thing and another. We're going to be going down to get my daughter resituated. She's moving out of the apartment she's currently in to another apartment she's going to be in next year. Now, next year is her senior year at college, so hopefully this will calm down a little bit in the future. We're not going to be moving her around as much and resituating her. John G. Okay, he's talking to Marv Turner. But also, I don't know how many. I can't talk all of a sudden. I don't know how many of you might have seen this. I mentioned it a couple of minutes ago. We went over 80,000 subscribers earlier this week. It was what's today? This is Wednesday. It must have been Sunday or Monday. So how about that? 80,000 individuals out there actually took the time to hit the subscribe button for my channel. That just is mind-blowing. Thank you, thank you, thank you to all of you. I cannot express my gratitude enough that so many of you have been that interested in the things that I've been doing and the videos that I record and all of that you have subscribed to the channel. Thank you, thank you, thank you, everyone who has subscribed. It's an odd journey. At this point, I have been producing videos primarily on YouTube for about 12 and a half years. And like so many people, I think a lot of people probably started out the same way as me. It was sort of a hobby, pastime. You're going to the range anyway, and you just decide, okay, I'll set up a video and, ramble on about whatever you're doing that day. And then probably 10 years ago, I started to take it all a little bit more seriously. And I thought, if I'm going to continue doing this, I really need to try to make it a little more professional. I need to work on my production quality. I need to work on my presentation quality. And from that point on, it's been more than a pastime. It's really, I look at it these days as my job, or at least my part-time job, that I am engaged in this endeavor to produce videos and bring as much information as I can to all of you, and to do it in an entertaining way. And that's always the balance, because if you come across 100% with too much information, then it's like going to school and listening to the teacher that was always knowledgeable but very boring. If you try to make it a comedy routine, or all things flashing in the background and exploding and movie clips and things like that, then I think it loses a lot of the information value. So I always try to balance those two things to the best that I can. And at least 80,000 of you have thought enough of the videos and the presentation and all that you've hit the subscribe button. So again, thank you very much. And I got a comment that came in, but it doesn't look like anybody that wants to join as a guest. And John G., this is the fourth year you're going to the gathering. I'm surprised I hadn't at least heard something about it, but it seems like so many of these things are popping up. And GunCon, we've got this. There is what is it? TriggerCon is another one. Of course, the NRA annual meeting is coming around. So it seems like there are more and more of these things, or maybe I'm just becoming more and more aware of them. And that was one of the things I was starting to say a couple of minutes ago. With as many years as I've been doing this, it seems like just now I'm sort of, I don't know if I want to say hitting my stride. I don't know if that's the right metaphor, but I feel like I'm becoming known enough that if I go to something like this year was my first SHOT Show, but there are people there that will recognize me. They'll say, "Oh yeah, I've seen the videos," and it really helps to open some doors for products that I'm able to get and information that I'm able to bring to all of you. So that's extremely nice. And it's not a situation where I'm thinking, wow, I'm now a a lot of you know how much I hate the term influencer. But not that I'm thinking of myself that way or look how great I've become or anything like that. It's more uh, the opportunities that recognition brings with it to be able to be looked at as a legitimate person who produces hopefully good quality videos and presents the information as best I can to all of you. And so many of the companies and the people that I have met in the industry are so receptive to both positive and negative feedback. You know, if I have a product that I look at, and recently I had the SAR 9 pistol in that I produced the review videos on. And I really thought that was a very balanced review, particularly the shop review. But based on the comments that I got, a lot of you must have looked at that as more of a negative review, or that I was being very critical of that handgun. And I really didn't think of it that way myself. I just thought these are my actual honest opinions of this particular firearm. And when I got out to the range, I talked about, you know, it actually shot pretty well. It was completely reliable. The accuracy, as I recall, wasn't bad. But the nice thing is when I'm working with these folks and I'm able to give them that constructive feedback, and then they actually incorporate it into the products as they're improving them or as they're developing them. One of the biggest compliments, or one of the greatest things that I was told when I went to the SHOT Show came from the folks at DS Arms, and specifically Mark at DS Arms, when they were showing me that new T48 rifle that they are manufacturing it. It's going to be branded H&R and sold through Palmetto State Armory under the H&R brand. But Mark told me that really came about at least partially because of the video that I had produced when I was reviewing the DSA 58 rifle. And I talked about the history of the T44 versus the T48 rifles, and at least somewhat based upon that video, they got to talking and said, hey, wouldn't this be cool if we did a reproduction of the actual T48 rifle? And now that rifle is, if it's not already out, it's going to be out very soon. So how cool is that to be able to have some, you know, little tiny part that you played in the development of a brand new, well, at least a brand new reproduction that's going to be coming out. I feel really good about that. That's just fabulous. It's like a childhood dream. You know, the teenager that was reading all the gun magazines and, you know, all the cool things that were coming out, and thinking, you know, wow, wouldn't it be great to be able to, you know, talk to these manufacturers or talk to somebody, and, you know, maybe they would take this idea or that idea and actually develop it into a product. So that's extremely cool. And I'm rambling on here, and again, not going through your comments. So let me run back down the comments here. OGR, most honest gun reviews on YouTube. Thank you very much. I really try for that. Jeff Tim, HR Funk. Maybe they think you are sick. Oh, nope, not sick. JC, oh, you must be responding to somebody else in a comment that I didn't see about the 100,000. John Galt, thank you very much. Good morning, Reverend Skip. Thanks for joining. What does HR stand for? HR stands for Howard Ross. A lot of time and thought went into my YouTube screen name, and I've told this story before, but some of you might not have heard it. When I very first started looking at YouTube videos, and this was, I don't know, 2007, 2008, something like that. I don't know if you still have to do this or not, but you had to create an account on YouTube just to be able to watch. And you, of course, as part of that, you had to put up a screen name. Well, at the time, I was looking at a lot of online forums and things like that. And I just always used my first two initials and my last name, HR Funk. So that's what I used for YouTube. At the time, I wasn't thinking that I was ever going to be producing videos, or that my channel would be known by the screen name that I use. Had I thought of that, I'd have tried to come up with something that sounded a lot better, like, I don't know, Johnny Tactical 44 or something like that. I don't know. That sounds really dumb, but anyway, that's what I came up with. And when I started producing videos, that's the way they started going out. That's how I'm known these days. I'm actually named after my grandfather. His name was Howard Ross Stewart, one of the finest gentlemen I've ever known in my life. So I'm honored to be named after him. But nowadays, Howard, HR, I go by all those things. And people call me all kinds of different things, which is kind of fun. Different people, Skip will call me Marine. A lot of people call me Chief, which, thank you very much. It's been several years now since I left the police department, but I feel very honored by that people would still refer to me as Chief. So thank you very much, even though I no longer am a chief of police. Some people call me Gunny, and I always feel conflicted about that one because I was never a gunnery sergeant in the Marine Corps. A lot of you know that. I was a corporal when I left, and I was darn glad to be a corporal after 4 years. And then when I got recalled in for Desert Storm, there were no promotions or anything going on at that time, or at least I didn't get one. So when I left the Marine Corps, I left as an E4 corporal. Yeah, even though, truthfully, that added a couple of years that I was in the IRR and then back in for active duty during Desert Storm, and then they finally kicked me out once and for all. But I always feel a little weird when people call me Gunny. But some people will call me Corporal because they see the corporal chevrons in the background of the videos and all that kind of thing. But thanks to all, I answer to all those things, and I don't spend a lot of time correcting anybody or saying, no, don't call me that. Sometimes people will call me Harold, and I've actually gotten that quite frequently throughout my life. People, for whatever reason, Howard and Harold are close enough together that, or close enough aligned that a lot of people will mix them up, and I'm not offended by that. Some people just, don't remember names. I don't remember a lot of names real well sometimes. So, whatever you guys decide to call me, as long as it's not some sort of a nasty name or something like that, I respond to it pretty well. So Skip's trying to get the combination for my gun safe. No, not putting that out there. And if you put in the wrong one, the whole room explodes. It's wired for detonation. Mark S, 80,000 outstanding. There's plenty of bigger channels, but the community on this one is low. And that's one of the things that I really, really love about this channel and this YouTube experience is we formed this little community here that I'm going to be gone on Saturday. I mentioned that earlier on, but there's going to be a Saturday video. It's going to be set for a premiere. So all of you are going to be able to join in. And I know that there's going to be a group of the regulars in there, and they're going to be talking back and forth and having a good time, just like they always do. And I love that. I love the fact that I guess the channel has helped bring a lot of people together that otherwise wouldn't have known each other, and not just local people, but people from around the world. I mean, we have Mark that joins us from Belgium. We have got the gentleman from the Czech Republic. Now his screen name just went right out of my mind, and that bugs me because he's such a regular on the show. We got Guile from the Philippines, but people from around the world that get together and talk back and forth and exchange ideas and all that. So that's something I never really expected from something like a chat log that goes along with the video premiere. It's supposed to be, all you guys pay attention to this. It's supposed to be for the person that created the video to be able to, give back behind the scenes information and whatever to the loyal fans. They go, these guys couldn't care less that I'm in the chat or not. It's like they're talking back and forth about, hey, did you get your car fixed? I know you said the other day that there's something wrong with it or whatever. And I'm like, hey guys, there's a video going, yeah, whatever. And then they go back to talking with each other. So, but no, I really love that. So again, thanks to everybody who joins in. If you've never joined in during the premiere video chat, by all means do so because you are welcome. I do get a troll every once in a while. And that had not happened before I don't know, 6 or 8 months ago, maybe something like that. I think it's the same person that comes in from time to time, of course, under a different screen name and puts nasty things up there until I finally kick him out. Um, and I don't know. I guess that just all goes along with it, but I'm just as happy without that kind of commentary. John G only learned about these events because Don wants come. Kyle Jackson, your channel was the very first one I joined. Thank you. Thank you very much. Your honest reviews and cool way of things finally made me decide to become a member. Well, thank you. And thank you to all my channel members. That's one of the things that I am a horrible person when it comes to managing channel memberships. There are a lot of channels out there that they have giveaways and they do this and they do that and they do all kinds of stuff for their channel members. And I just don't have time. I'm sorry. A lot of the bigger channels have a group of people that are working, and there's one person that manages the online store, and there's somebody else that does the channel membership things, and they have a camera person, then they have somebody that does the editing, and of course they've got the star of the show that always appears and does the video. For this, it's just me, and I'm not complaining. This what a fantastic gig to be able to produce videos about firearms, a lifelong passion, and try to share that with all of you. I mean, that's fantastic. But I get up in the morning and I come in here, and I've said before I even get out of bed, I'm looking at comments on the channel and responding to a lot of them. If you ever get an incoherent comment that comes back, that just tells you I hadn't had any coffee yet, and I was not, brain wasn't firing on all cylinders. But I come in here first thing in the morning and open up the email. Sometimes I've actually checked that before I get in here, but at that point I'm sending emails back to various people that are sending me either products or they're requesting information. Some of you have sent me emails through my website, I mean, with questions about firearms maintenance or hey, is there any more you can tell me about this or that or the other thing or whatever. So I'm sending emails back to all of them. I'm usually starting somewhere after I've had several cups of coffee, and I am actually able to speak again and think at least semi-coherently. I'm starting to call people on the phone and talking to various people that, manufacturers or this person or that person. So all of those kind of things lead me up to about 10 o'clock, which is usually about the time I'm ready to start working on the video for that day. And of course, somewhere in there, I got to get a shower and get shaved and get dressed and all those kind of things. I don't know why, but it's just sort of like 10 o'clock in the morning has become the unofficial beginning to the video recording time. And that's when usually if I'm doing, say, a firearms review, I'll do the shop review portion starting then. And depending on how involved that is, that might take the entire day for let's say I do a 20-minute or 25-minute shop review and I don't actually do the range footage along with it. If you see one of those videos like that, what that tells you is I probably spent about 6 hours recording that video, and probably the following day I spent another, usually about the same amount of time, 4 to 6 hours editing it to be able to have the presentation that I want for all of you. If I have the range footage along with that, then the range footage, it's always it depends on what I'm doing on the range. That dictates how much time it takes to record all that. And even for a relatively short range session, for what you see on the range, it will usually take me a couple of hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, whatever, just to be able to do like the usual handgun testing protocol or something like that, between moving cameras and moving myself and trying to get everything set up and not forget anything and all of that. That's easily 2.5, maybe 3 hours. If I'm doing something with a rifle where I'm working at extended ranges, then probably just double that time. I know when I'm working with a rifle, that's going to be an all-day range session. I'll get there somewhere in the morning, whenever the sun is bright enough, which is another thing I have to be mindful of. My lighting conditions, especially outside, depending on the time of the year, we are just coming out of the winter where I get whatever, maybe 4 or 5 hours of useful daylight in the middle of the day that I can try to record useful video on the range. And I'm kind of proud of myself. This past winter, even with the cold and the snow and everything else, I managed to get out and get quite a bit of shooting done and quite a bit of range footage. So I'm pleased by all of that. um, but uh, you know, just to give you an idea of what it's like when you're doing this as a single individual, and trying to do more than just what I would look at as, say, a home movie. It'd be easy to go out and just throw up a camera and you know fire at a target, and once in a while look over my shoulder and say, hey, didn't that look good, and then go back to shooting or whatever. To produce the videos I do and have them appear the way I want them to appear takes a lot of time and a lot of work, I guess, is what I'm getting at. So anyway, I have not been looking at the comments again. I apologize. Skip Boyer was at the range the other day and mentioned your channel, and they said, oh yeah, I watch him. Well, tell him I said thanks. JC, you are most welcome. Skip Boyer, you'd have to ask Keith and Jordan how they know how it felt. Okay. A man's only as good as his best monument. Kyle Jackson, you'll always be our chief. Thank you. I appreciate that. I really do. I don't know if it's Jix6 or Gix6. Thought you were related to Terry Funk of WWE. We love that guy. Now, I get that question pretty frequently. And I always have to say, as far as I know, I'm not related to him. And I get that a lot because there are some other people in this area, actually, with the last name of Funk. And they will ask, people ask me, are you related to so-and-so and such and such? On my father's side of the family, the lineage gets murky very, very fast. And I really don't know everybody I might be related to. So I always have to say, as far as I know, I'm not related to that person. But who knows? Maybe if you go back far enough, I am. As long as they don't call you late for meals. Marv Turner been called Steve so many times, I actually answer to it. Fernand Landry, thanks for joining all the way from Germany. Kip Boyer, my real name is Harold. I think I saw that. I something you had your name written on, and I think I saw your first name was Harold. You remind me of Gunny Tom Berenger's character from the Sniper movie. Those movies are guilty pleasures. I've got 2 or 3 of them on my Apple TV, and I saw the other day, I did a search for something, and there's a new one that's got him in again. He looks like he's about 80 years old in there, and I'm thinking, hey, I'd like to get that. I'd like to watch that movie. So thank you. I appreciate that. Jeff is giving out information on good prices for Glocks, so thank you, Jeff. Ah, cool. Terry and Dory Funk grew up down the street from J78, so that's cool. Nick Knox from Tennessee. And I saw something the other. Oh, the basketball tournament, the Final Four basketball tournament, I guess, is going on in Nashville, and we were just down there on New Year's, and I was again thinking, I really want to go back to Nashville. I like that town. I don't like cities, but I like Nashville. It's just a fun place. We can chat and listen at the same time. No, you can't. Jeff Tim was a sergeant in the Army. Respond to any loud four-letter word. I know that feeling. I'm trying to get through some of these comments that I missed. I don't know how far behind I am. Mr. Goldenrod, I consider this to be a peaceful gun channel. I appreciate that. I don't know if I ever thought about it quite in those terms, but a lot of what started me recording these videos was I either saw information on YouTube, and this of course is 12, 13 years ago, that I thought was inaccurate, or I thought it was presented in such a way that it cast firearms owners in a poor light. And I think that's kind of what you're getting at. You know, some of the really loud, profane, I don't know, just the way some of these things are presented, uh, I think is a little over the top. Yeah, you don't have to present yourself in that way to be taken seriously. You can present yourself as a articulate, educated uh, gentleman and still present good information. Now, I don't know any articulate, well-educated gentleman, but I do my best to impersonate one when I have the camera on and I'm producing something that all of you are going to see. Doesn't Howard look like Miles Quadrich from Avatar? I don't think I've ever seen Avatar, but I think I might know the character you're talking about because he played in something else. There was a TV show my daughter watched. This has been several years ago, and it was something about these people went back in time when they were living with dinosaurs and one thing and another. And I think he was in that. I don't know the actor's name, but I think I know who you mean. Ah, yes, Scott from South Carolina. We're coming up on the 250th birthday of the Marine Corps this year. How about that? From 1775 to 1925 and still going strong. Scott's from South Carolina. Remember when they had the 200th birthday celebration at Camp Lejeune? Dad worked there at the time. So what would that have been? What was 50 years ago? 1965? No, 1975. Yeah, a couple of years before I was in the Marine Corps. A couple, I guess 10 years. Mr. Goldenrod, appreciate that you shave and seldom wear a baseball hat. And that's something else. I made a mistake in the video that I was recording yesterday, and I didn't catch it till I was editing. I see a lot of people when they record their videos and they're outside, they're wearing sunglasses. And I really think you lose some connection with your audience when they can't see your eyes. Uh, and when I was recording yesterday, I was in a little bit of a hurry, and I uh, got through the video, and I came home and I was editing it, and I realized that I left my glasses on, my sunglasses, while I was talking out there. It was a very bright, sunny day yesterday. Um, so that's something I try not to do. That's just the little things that I've learned over the years. And when I was really looking at improving my presentation and my I always hate to characterize it this way because it sounds like I'm taking myself too seriously, but my on-screen presence, I looked at actors on TV and movies and in commercials, and even actors on the stage, and I thought, how do these people project their emotions and their I don't know, their essence of being, if you will, through the medium of video, through a TV screen or from a movie screen. You know, how do they do that? Because prior to starting the YouTube thing, I did a lot of firearms instructing. That's kind of the progression. And having a class of live people in front of you, whether they're police officers or uh, uh, people who are trying to get a concealed handgun license or something like that, is a little bit like playing to a live audience as an actor. You get instant feedback by looking at people, and you can see their facial expressions. You can see if they're nodding off to sleep. If you make a joke or say something funny and they react to it, okay, that worked, that kept them awake. When you are talking to a camera like I'm doing right now, there is nothing, nothing. It's like literally standing there talking to yourself. And I really tried to learn as much as I could from these people who are professionals when it comes to being on screen. I learned a lot has to do with their voice. If you ever notice, great actors have phenomenal voices. Think about people like Charlton Heston. Think about people like Sylvester Stallone. He has that kind of muted way of speaking, but a very distinct voice. Trying to think of other people. And of course, my mind is going blank right now. Patrick Stewart, if you're a Star Trek fan, that phenomenal voice. They use that to be able to project and connect with people who are watching. Facial expressions, that's another thing that I've learned, because it's easy to get into a monotone way of talking, and you don't change your inflection and you don't change your facial expression. And you don't have to look hard to see some videos out there, but to be a little bit more animated, to learn to project and inflect and all that is something that takes some time. And I hope that comes across on your end of the video, because that's one of the things that I think adds to the enjoyment, and it keeps you from getting bored. And a lot of things in my video are meant to stave off boredom that you might not even notice. I'm talking about the presentation, but some of the editing and having things change. And what I've started doing in the last year or so, when I edit the video, I'll start out with a wide shot, say in the shop or on the range or whatever. And as I'm talking, I'll crop it down a little bit closer, which gives you the sense of moving in. Or if it's a long clip that I'm working on, maybe I'll step it back at some point to give you a little bit more perspective. So all those little things like that are thrown in to make it less mentally fatiguing, i.e. boring when you're watching. So maybe a 25-minute video doesn't seem like 25 minutes, and you get done and you think, wow, that went by pretty quickly. And it's because there are different things happening. Now you can get carried away with that. And I see that in some videos where it becomes distracting, where there's constantly things happening and something here, and you hear a funny voice back there, or there's a picture or a meme or something that comes up and flashes on the screen. That, I think, that gets distracting after a while. So again, it's one of those things that I've really had to balance. And again, I'm not looking at your comments, and I'm sorry. J78, editing videos is a lot of work. Yes, it is. Rabbi, good morning to you. I'm glad you made it. Free is the only good price for a clock. Channel giveaway, Chewy. Where is he anyway? I took Chewy out this morning, and he immediately started barking and carrying on. He's like pulling at the leash and trying to get away from me. And I thought, what are you doing? And about that time, a car went by and illuminated my side yard. And there were 3 deer standing there looking at him like, what is that crazy creature there that's carrying on barking at us? And eventually they got tired of listening to him bark, and they took off into the woods. So Chewy was quite proud of himself. He had vanquished the deer. They were evicted from our yard, and Chewy was very happy to know that he was able to do that. Tony York, there are a fair number of gun YouTubers that don't give off a good look. I agree, and I wish they. Now, of course, it's their channel; they can present themselves however they want to. But when you're presenting yourself to a worldwide audience, and this is something that I've been acutely aware of ever since I started to produce these videos, somebody in wherever, pick the country, New Zealand, somebody in Portugal, somebody in Bolivia, is going to form their opinion of Americans and American gun owners, and in my case, of Marines and of police officers, or at least United States police officers, based at least in part on how I present myself in a video. Um, I don't want to portray any of those groups in a negative way and cause people to think, wow, those crazy people in that country are allowed to own firearms the way they do. And maybe somehow give credence to the anti-Second Amendment crowd, at least internationally, because I've done a bad job of presenting myself in a video. So that's I try to be very mindful of that. What? I'm not sure if Rabbi is directing this question at me or someone else, but home defense condo edition 10 millimeter AR or a 300 blackout. I don't think either one. Um, Maybe shotgun with number 4 shot, number 4 buckshot. That shouldn't go through too much drywall. Maybe even a little bit lighter shot than that. Um, Ohio Gun Runner, nothing worse than some of these young YouTubers talking as if they're knowledgeable, but giving out bad information. I actually heard this guy the other day. He was a youngster, probably, I don't know, in his mid 20s, I would guess, maybe late 20s. And he actually responded to somebody and said that because he was a firearms expert, he could give this whatever information that he was giving. And I thought, wow, that term expert is something I don't like. I have been the beneficiary of a lot of firearms training and a lot of experience over the years, and I try to pass that on as best I can. But to actually consider yourself an expert when there is so much to learn. I have been a lifelong student of firearms and shooting, and I'm still learning stuff all the time. And I don't know. I think you have to have a pretty high opinion of yourself to believe at 20 something years old you're an expert in anything, truthfully. Um, when I was 20 something years old, I don't think I ever thought I was, but there's been a lot of water under the bridge since then. So maybe I was a little more that way than I remember. Marv Turner, my brother and his wife spent 52 months at Iwakuni. Wow. Iwakuni is not very big to spend that much time there. Although Japan is nice. There's a lot to see in Japan. I was considering a coach gun. Hey, you could do a lot worse. As I recall, that's Joe Biden's preferred home defense firearm. But I'm a decent shot under stress. Katie Cowboy, yeah, I heard about that story. That is horrific. Yeah, there's just not much that can be said about that. Just absolutely terrible. Rich Powers is here. Good morning, Rich. I'm glad you made it. Buffalo, I guess Buffalo Bill H or Buffalo Bill. Sunglasses always seem to me that the wearer is hiding something or they don't want to make a real connection, a bit impersonal. Uh, yeah, I mean, so often they're necessary. Just you're out in bright sunlight, but particularly when you're talking on camera or when I'm talking on camera, I really try to avoid wearing anything that keeps my eyes from being seen. Just like now, I've got my reading glasses on so I can actually read your comments. But still, I want people to be able to see the expressions and the look in my eye and all that kind of thing. James Earl Jones. Yes, there's another great voice. Robert Mitchum, another actor with a fantastic voice. Fecal Warning, good morning to you. John Wayne. I must be way behind. Can I rent Chewie? Too many deer here. The funny thing is, he usually doesn't see them. This is one of the times I'll be out taking him through the yard, and I'll see deer. We have on two sides of my home there are woods, and I will be out there with him, and I'll see deer standing in the woods looking at us, not very far away, and he's out there looking around and doing whatever he does, and never even realizes they're there. So this is one of the rare times he actually saw them. And I'm trying to zoom through these comments right now to get a little bit closer to being caught up. Jeff Tim, expert is a person who knows how much he does not know, but knows where to find the answer. Sounds good to me. Greg Shearer, will you review the new Model 36 or Model 10? If I can. I'm really excited about Saturday's video, even though I'm not going to be here during the premiere, because it's a brand new model that just came out. In fact, I don't know if these are on shelves yet, but this is going to be a handgun review. I'm extremely excited about it. I don't think there's another review up. I know the distributor has done a couple of uh, like short videos where they've sort of unveiled it and talked about it a little bit, but I don't think there's been an independent review of this handgun yet. So for all of you coming up on Saturday, there's going to be something brand new, and I hope you enjoy it. Bunny on your wife's account. Okay, well that's okay. Um, wanted to say you do a fantastic job. Retired from the Army, spent 18 years in law enforcement. And I think you were first class. Thank you. Thank you very much. Perry County Whitetails. What gun content do you watch on YouTube, if any? I don't watch a lot. Reason being, I'm so involved in creating my own content that I just don't have a lot of time to watch other videos. Sometimes, if there's something that I've reviewed, and I'm thinking, I wonder if anybody else had this same experience, or if they had a different experience, or whatever, I might search for that specific firearm, or maybe if there's something that I'm trying to get information on, or I'm doing research on, or something like that, I will check on see what I can find. But I'm searching for that specific firearm. I think I'm subscribed to, I don't know, 6 or 8 YouTube channels, and most of them are people that I know or I have some relationship with, and I just kind of like seeing what they're up to or what things are going on with them. There are a couple of manufacturers that I've subscribed to their channel because same thing. I'm just curious what new things they might have going on. But a lot of the ones I watch are the smaller channels. And I'll throw one out for all of you. It's Lion Quest Fitness, who Greg from Lion Quest Fitness does a great job. In fact, when I'm down in South Carolina this weekend, I'm going to be close by to where he lives. I don't know if he's going to make it to this event or not, but it would be nice to meet him face to face. But yeah, I just don't watch a lot of specific. It's not like I can tell you I like this person and this person and this person and this person, because it's more if I'm looking at something on YouTube, I'm looking for content on a particular item or firearm or whatever, not so much an individual. Jeeps Cafe is leaving us, so have a great day. Thanks for joining. And by the way, I've still got that item you sent me. I'm going to get to it as soon as I can. Marty Neff, here in Oregon, our Measure 114 has been deemed constitutional. Now firearms require classes and permits. Wow. Did that go to the U.S. Supreme Court, or was that ruled on by a lower court? I'm just curious. I guess I'm curious mostly if there's any room for more appeals. Bunny gets 25 or 30 deer in the yard because they're out in the country. Robert Redford. Robert Redford has an okay voice. It's not one of those that really resonates when you hear his voice, like a Robert Mitchum or like a James Earl Jones. Tell you another guy with a great voice is Sam Elliott. Yeah, and you ever notice when Sam Elliott does a commercial, even if you don't see him, you know it, if he's doing a truck commercial or something like that, you hear that voice, and you're like, that's Sam Elliott. Skip Boyer, what shooting challenges do you have coming up? I don't really have any. A lot of times, if I'm looking at, say, Mr. Revolver Guy, A Day at the Range, he does those, and I'll sort of springboard off of his. I did those last fall where I did the Marine Corps birthday. I suppose I should do one for this year's Marine Corps birthday coming up for the 250th. So I'll see what I can put together for that, but I don't have any in mind right at the moment. Jim Kohler, hi to you. Terry Barnes also watches Lion Quest Fitness. Bunny is leaving. You have a fantastic day too. Thanks for joining. And I think, hey, how about that? I'm caught up. Marty Neff ruled on by the lower courts, but luckily was, wait a second, ruled on by a lower court. Was able to get my 1956 Smith & Wesson pre-Model 10. But the gun stores are depleting quickly. Now it's on the state, on to the state Supreme Court. So, okay, there are still challenges and appeals that can be brought. I'm not really sure how that could be ruled on as being constitutional when it's requiring permits or training or what have you for mere ownership and possession. But I don't know. We'll see what happens as that works its way through the appeals. Rabbi, you have a great day too. Thanks for joining. And wow, we are coming up on the 1 hour mark here, and that just flew by. John G., you have a great day. I will hopefully see you this weekend. Good Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. And since we've got people that are signing off, I think I'm going to start working on signing off. I usually try to run these for just about an hour. And as I said, we're coming up right on the hour mark. So I'll take this opportunity to say once again, thank you to all of you. I did hit 80,000 subscribers just a couple of days ago, and I am just extremely grateful to everyone, each and every one of you who has taken time to hit the subscribe button. Thank you very much. To my channel members for that monthly donation that you make to the channel. I really could not do everything I do without your support and assistance. So thank you to my channel members. A special thank you to my channel members. Thanks to everybody for joining in today and for participating in the chat. And also, as I said, there is going to be a Saturday morning video. I won't be there, but the premiere video will be up. The chat will be the chat will be live. So that'll be going on for all of you. Thanks to everyone. Have a great day. And until next time, everyone, good shooting and bye-bye for now.